Hello fellow adventurers, and welcome to the first video of the DM's Guide. This channel is dedicated to reading and explaining the fundamental rules of Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 edition, but also some of the 5th edition basic rules. As a 20 years 3.5 edition veteran, most of the material I cover will be about my hard-earned experience gathered through trial and error in the realms of that edition. Nevertheless, there will be enough references for both editions to explain the mechanics of the most popular role-playing game in the world. To start with, you must know that no matter what you end up playing, whether it is a powerful mage, a sneaky rogue, or a savage barbarian, the most important thing about this game is having fun. Gather your friends, roll your characters, explore dungeons, uncover devious plots, and wander around the universe. To get started, you must have the following tools listed in the player's guide. A. The Dungeon Master's Guide. This book is what will guide and keep the Dungeon Master warm all the cold nights he spends alone, designing dungeons his players will skip or avoid or ignore altogether. In it you will find a plethora of information, from how hard a reinforced wooden door is to what weather can hinder a party roaming the countryside. The Player's Handbook. Inside this book are the basic rules you need to know in order to get started. Common races, basic classes, feats, skills, spells, and all the equipment a first-time adventurer needs to survive in the inhospitable wilderness of the frozen tundra, the scorching heat of the desert wasteland, or the unsurvivable mazes of the Underdark. The Monster Manual. From the beautiful nymphs to the terrifying Tarrasque, every manner of encounter can be found within the pages of the Monster Manual. This is a book the DM should keep close to himself and leave it open at random pages, in order to frighten the party with the monstrosities they will never face. A copy of the character sheet that can be found at the end of the player's handbook, although the interior is full of the custom-made ones, one for each player. A battle grid. The Dungeon Master Guide has one, but you can also make your own easily enough with a piece of graph paper. Miniatures to represent each character and the monsters that challenge them. The truth is that the miniatures are not essential, though they are helpful in depicting your character's action in battle. You can also use pieces of paper or wood, bottle caps, pretty much anything small enough to be placed on a battle grid. A set of dice for each player. You will find out yourself that no one has just one set of dice. Usually players acquire enough set of dice to fill a small aquarium, and in the end only use their lucky one. A set of dice includes one 4-sided die, or better known as D4, one 6-sided die, although you may want to get some more of those, one 8-sided die, or D8, two 10-sided dice, or D10s. That represents the numbers from 1 to 100 for percentages and all that. One 12-sided die, or D12, and most importantly, the 20-sided die, or D20. You will also need pencils, scrap paper, and plenty of graph paper to keep notes and to map out the caves and dungeons your character will explore. Once you have those items, you're ready to begin building your character step by step. The first part is rolling your abilities. Your abilities represent your physical and mental status. How strong, dexterous, smart, wise, tough, or charismatic your character is, it all comes down to your abilities. There are many different ways to roll for abilities. The most common one is the use of 4 6-sided dice for each ability. After you roll all 4, ignore the lowest, add the rest of the numbers, and that is your ability. Repeat the process 5 more times, and those are your ability scores. Now that you have your scores, it's time to choose your race and class. The Player's Handbook has the basic races and classes from the world of D&D, but you can always look up more online or from other books. Always keep in mind that your Dungeon Master may not allow all races or classes, so consult with them first for any non-basic race or class. When you choose your class, imagine what you want your character to be. A well-trained fighter is not the same as the uncivilized barbarian, and a scholarly wizard is very different from the instinctual sorcerer. Whether you're in the front lines, keeping the enemy at bay, hiding in the shadows, waiting for the opportune moment to strike at the unsuspecting foe, or somewhere in between, each class has different strengths and weaknesses. After you pick a class, it's time to choose a race. There are 7 races in the player's handbook to choose from, but something tells me that most players will choose one from another book or the web. Whatever you decide, make sure your DM is allowing it. After you make your decision regarding class and race, it's time to assign each of the ability scores you rolled earlier to one of the 6 abilities. These are Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. Depending on your race, you may have to adjust your scores. Keep in mind, you should put high scores in abilities that support your class selection. You can see each class individually to check which ability is more important for that class. Your class and race provide certain features. Most of them are automatic, but you must always keep in mind of what your character is capable of and plan your strategy accordingly. Read them carefully. Your next step in character creation is just selecting your skills. Your class and intelligence modifier determine how many skill points you have to spend. Skills are measured in ranks. At first level, you can bear as many as 4 ranks in a skill for 4 skill points, if that skill is in your class skill list, or 2 ranks for 4 skill points if the skill is in another class skill list. Once you have selected your skills, determine the skills modifier by adding the skill ranks to the ability modifier associated with the skill and record it on your character sheet. Every first level character starts with a feat. Feats are found on page 90 in the player's handbook, but we'll deal with them in another video. Also important is your equipment. Depending on your class, you get a basic starting package, or you can roll your starting gold and buy your bone gear, though my advice for beginners is get the starting package and see how it goes. Worst case scenario, you sell your equipment and buy a new one. Now that you found your equipment, it's time to determine and record the numbers that will be used in combat. First, you must calculate your hit points, and that is different for every class. At first level, wizards and sorcerers get 4 hit points, rogues and bards get 6 hit points, cleric, druid, monks and rangers get 8 hit points, fighters and paladins get 10 hit points, and barbarians get 12 hit points. To this number, add your character's constitution modifier. If you choose a class from another book, your hit points are the full hit dice of that class plus your constitution modifier. Your armor class determines how hard your character is to hit. Add the following numbers together to get your armor class. 10 plus your armor bonus plus your shield bonus plus your size modifier plus your dexterity modifier. Your character's initiative modifier equals your dexterity modifier. The improved initiative feat provides an additional modifier if you select it. Your class determines your base attack bonus. To determine your melee attack bonus for when you get into close combat fights, sword fights, axe, bludgeonic weapons and all that, add your strength modifier to your base attack bonus. To determine your ranged attack bonus for when you attack from a distance with a bow, sling, crossbow, and sometimes you can just pick a rock and throw it away, add your dexterity modifier to your base attack bonus. Your class determines your base saving throw bonuses. To this number, add your constitution modifier to get your fortitude save, your dexterity modifier to get your reflex save, and your wisdom modifier to get your will save. All you have now is your name, gender, alignment, age, appearance, and so on. Once you finish with that, you're ready to start your game, so stock the fridge, keep the pantry filled, and until next time, enjoy the game.